Hey everybody, this is Sonja Jones with GIP Financials. And I know you're wondering what in the world is GIP Financials? Well, I'm glad you asked. GIP Financials, we support individuals and groups with financial assistance that support strategic and confident planning. Basically, we're helping you to get your financials in position. That's what GIP stands for, to get in position. We want to help you succeed in your financial endeavors. And so, this particular video, I was thinking about doing content, and I thought it would be appropriate to talk about the why of GIP Financials, why I decided to create, or why God said, you need to start GIP Financials. So, I wanted to give you a little history about me and my story. Well, first off, for anybody who knows me personally, knows that I'm a planner, a big time planner. And I don't think that I really started being interested in money per se until I was like a teenager. I started working at the age of 15. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So if any of you are familiar with Union Avenue, which is probably one of the busiest streets in Memphis, there used to be a Po Folks restaurant. If y'all are familiar with the Bill Evans franchise, it's currently now the Outback Steakhouse. It used to be called Po Folks. Kind of a country down home um, restaurant on Union Avenue. I started there at 15 as a server, and my mom used to help me kind of do my planning with my money. She would basically take my tips when I got home and help me separate, my play money versus the money I needed, like for band, particularly because I was really active in high school and all of my fees and dues that I needed money for. So she helped me start the practice of saving, and that basically just stuck with me, and it still stays with me to this day, obviously. Um, but I just really enjoyed having money for myself, being able to, work for my money and really see the benefit of, keeping it as opposed to spending it all the time. And I think, especially once I got to college and particularly when I pledged, I know my line sisters talk about it all the time, that Sonya always had money, not because I did anything magnificent. It was just I just like to save, and I worked a lot. And so I had a plan. I made sure that when I earned my scholarship at the University of Memphis, I made sure that I was in class every day, that I did not waste my scholarship. And when I made the decision to um, stop participating in marching band because it was so hot and it was just hard. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was able to do that um, and still be able to supplement what I missed from marching band. I still did concert band, so I got half of my scholarship, but I was able to supplement that with other options, including my job. So I really was a believer in what money could do for you if you planned properly and worked hard for it. As I, got a little older, I started listening to Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey, picking up, tips and things from both of them, respectively. And from that, I started getting interested in real estate investing. Started with tax liens. Really wasn't successful in that because everybody kind of already, you know, had the system for that, especially here in Memphis. So I just started with, passive income and the buy and hold strategy. So I basically took my first property, which was my former marital residence, and rented it out, and it was, a pretty good deal. I was able to, cash flow at least, depending on what, my mortgage payment was and the escrow and all that stuff, between like 100. I think maybe the max I got per month was 150 every month from my rental property. And so I decided to look into commercial and, doing some bigger projects. So my parents and I started Bell Investments, and that was in 2009. And we invested in a block of properties in Fraser, We did some unique financing with that. We actually didn't have to go to the bank to purchase that property. We didn't have to put a whole lot down, which was a good thing. We were able to sell and finance that property, and we did pretty well with it until about 2014, 2015. My dad took ill, and so we ended up having to sell the properties. And with that, learned some valuable lessons about being able to the importance of delegating, because we didn't have anybody to really um, do what my dad did. And to be totally honest with you, I didn't particularly like the property management companies that specialized, if you will, in low income housing. I just felt like we did it better because we took care of our people, our tenants. And so also with that, we partnered with several nonprofit organizations that needed temporary and permanent housing for their clients. And so that was a very, very um, man, it was just a blessing in that partnership. I wouldn't even call it lucrative, to be honest with you, because we didn't make a profit off of it, when we sold the properties. However, I think the relationships that were built from that, I still have those partnerships and those relationships to this day, and I wouldn't be who I am without them. Um, so with that being said, man, in the midst of me doing Bell Investments, I was working full time. I was full time minister of music at my church. I also ran a piano studio. Um, well, it was Music is Piano Academy, and I had group piano instruction piano classes as well as private. When I tell you that my kids and I, poor things, we was in the car all the time. We were always busy. We were never at home. The good thing in that, I made a lot of money. I probably made about $7,000 a month just with all of my endeavors combined. However, my boys suffered because we were never at home and they were always, with my parents and stuff like that. So when you think about that, especially as you get older, you're like, first of all, I have somewhat to show for it. I paid off a lot of debt, and I was able to get the house where I'm in right now, with that money that I earned. But also just thinking back in hindsight, the quality time and stuff that I missed out on because I was always busy, you know, just not having a lot of time to be still. And so, moving forward with that, I got remarried. I got married in oh my goodness, what was that? 2001. I had Euro in 2002. We got separated in 2005, divorced in 08, and then I remarried in 2013 with my current husband. And we're all here at the house that we're at right now. And one of the things that I also did, I left my full time teaching job and decided to venture out with Bell Investments part time, and was going to keep, my piano studio and my full time musician job at the church. But God had other plans. So, uh, right, right after that, about a couple of months after I left my full time teaching job, my former principal had an opportunity for me to work at his new school, and it was really only going to be temporary, just part-time gig, just doing administrative, assistance. But it actually grew into um, my current position as director of finance and operations, and I've been there since inception. So this will be going into closing year 6, going into year 7, where I am right now. And when I tell you I've learned so much from that, I mean, from starting a nonprofit from scratch, HR, payroll, operations, retirement, state and federal compliance, bookkeeping, you name it, I've learned it. And one of the things that I also enjoy doing now as I'm getting older is just really valuing mentorship and helping people get where they need to be. I feel like I have an anointing for beginners. For like when I was teaching piano, I feel like I always had a knack with the babies and getting them rooted in their thing. And then once they left me, they went on to bigger and better things with band and choir and piano and all that other type of stuff, and just making me a proud teacher. I have several babies who are very successful, and I'm proud of that. But I feel like I have a knack for just helping people get on the right foot, just laying, the good foundation. I feel like I'm a Mr. Miyagi in a sense. I help you kind of, paint the fence and sand the floor and all that type of stuff. So I really enjoyed it. And I really feel like, too, this was kind of like a confidence booster for me because after Bell Investments, um, after we had to sell the properties, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a failure. I was depressed. I just I just kind of tanked. And it took me a couple of years to get back to the point where I wasn't afraid to start new ventures or try new things. So henceforth, I think GIP is kind of like, my second chance at really doing the thing that I feel like um, God wants me to do, in the marketplace and helping others. And especially with the resource of money, because it's a serious thing, especially now that we're, going through this pandemic with COVID-19. You see everybody's just going through their own specific um, instance. Everybody has their own financial story. But I thank God that, our story is just a little bit different. Could have been worse. But that's what good planning, will do for you. And so I just want to share that information with others. So that's who I am, and that's why I started GIP Financials, just to make sure that the things that God gives me, that I make sure that I give them out and share them with others. So if you have any questions about finances, whether it's insurance, about taxes, anything, if I don't know the answer, you better believe it that I am chock full of resources, and I know people. I have a team, if you will, of experts, and if I don't know the answer, I can get that answer for you at least within 24 hours, because that's how dope my people are. So feel free to email me at info@gipfinancials, plural with an s.com, or you can also um, feel free to visit our website at www.gipfinancials.com. I offer free 1 hour consultation, so you can just fill out the form and schedule your appointment with me there. Okay, so thank you for listening to my story, and I hope to share some more. Well, not hope, I will be sharing some other topics with you guys in the near future. Take care.